Hello everyone. In this video, we will solve for fractional equations. Solving for a linear equation containing fractions with one unknown involving the following steps. Step 1. Apply distributive rule if any. That means we have to clear the brackets. Step 2. Simplify both sides of the equation by combining the like terms. Step 3. Isolate the unknown by performing the same operation on both sides of the equation. Step 4 is to check the answer by substituting the solution into the original equation to make sure that the left-hand side is equal to the right-hand side. So in this particular lesson, I will emphasize on using the calculator for the fractions. The calculator that I refer to is a Casio FX991MS. The keys on this calculator involving the fraction is this key to represent the mixed number, and the ship and the key above it as a yellow D over C is the symbol for improper fractions. And note that the operations for fraction as multiplication, division, addition, subtraction, I will use this key to perform those operations with the fractions. And don't forget the difference between the subtraction key and this key is the negative sign. So this one is a negative sign. So if you want to key in a negative fraction, you should press this key right here. Alright, so we will have a chance to take a look at this key again, why we perform the step for checking the solution for this particular example. Okay, you don't see the fraction here, but when we solve for x, the solution for x will be a fraction. And in checking the solution for x, we will have to use the calculator to simplify the process. Alright, okay, so let's get started. For example number 1, we see that we have negative 10 as a coefficient in front of this bracket, the negative 7 as a coefficient in front of this bracket. That means that you must apply distributive rule. Distributive rules means that you take this coefficient, you multiply with each term inside the bracket. Okay, so take the coefficient, multiply with each term inside the bracket. So let's draw the arrow to clarify that. So I must take negative 10, multiply each term inside the bracket. I must take negative 7 and multiply with each term inside the bracket. So let's see what we got. Negative 10 times x will be negative 10x. Alright. And negative 10 multiply plus 3 will give me negative 30. Negative 7 times negative x will give me positive 7x. And note that I don't need to write the positive here. It's invisible, and it's understanding that we don't write anything in front of that number or the coefficient. It is a positive. Okay, so now negative 7 times subtract 5. You see, negative 7 times minus 5. It should turn out to be a positive, which is positive 35, and plus 35. And now add 27. Okay, the next step is to combine like terms. So on this side I don't have any like term to combine, but this side I can add these two numbers together. Alright, so then I will have negative 10x subtract 30 equal to 7x plus 62. Alright, now the next step is to isolate the x, right? Isolate the x means that you must get rid of everything surrounding the x. And if the x is on the right hand side of the equation, you need to somehow transfer it to the left hand side. Okay, so let's do one step at a time. And don't forget that if you isolate the unknown, you need to perform the reverse of that math. That means that here's my negative 10 times x subtract 30. So you need to get rid of the subtract 30 first before you get rid of the negative 10 multiplied by x. Okay, so that the key to isolate the unknown in this case. You need to remember that it's a reverse of bad math. So you need to get rid of the subtract 30 first. Okay, so get rid of subtract 30. I need to add 30 on both sides. All right. Okay, so the purpose of that is to see that subtract 30, add 30 will give me 0 on this side. So that means I only have negative 10x left. Okay, so since the 30 is on this side, I can combine it with this. I will do step by step because I realize that some of you may just want to skip a few steps. If you are comfortable with linear equation already, you can skip a few steps here, right? But what I will do next is I want this positive 7x on this side of the equation. That means I have to subtract 7x on both sides. Okay, so I will write it here. Subtract 7x and subtract 7x on this side. Okay, see the wording that I'm using? The operations mean that addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. I need to perform the same operation on both sides of the equation. And I avoid the word moving to this side using positive and negative. I avoid all of that because the meaning behind all of that that you've probably heard from before is to perform the operation on both sides of the equation. You need to perform the same operation with the reverse of that mass. All right. So therefore, if you perform those shortcuts that you've learned from before, then you heard that, oh, I move it to this side, become positive, move it become negative. I don't think it's a correct procedure. And the correct procedure is that you must perform the same operation on both sides. And if you want to move the operation to the other side, you have to apply the opposite operation. Okay, so that in the way that is advanced uh, mathematics with the thorough understanding of algebra already. Okay, so if any of you kind of concerning that why I am doing step by step, why I keep saying perform the same operation on both sides if you want to isolate the x. Okay, so then that's the purpose of um, clarifying the behind steps of all the shortcut. Okay, now so as you see that the 7x subtract 7x is gone. I just have 92 left on this side. And I combine these like terms, I will have negative 17x equal to 92. Again, I emphasize what I said before. Okay? I am not saying that I'm moving term over to this side and change positive, change negative. I avoid that completely. The reason is that most of the errors the student makes coming from here. Okay, I said that I want to get rid of negative 17 to isolate the x. Okay, so here multiply x by negative 17. It means that I divide both sides by negative 17. Okay, so I divide both sides by negative 17 in order to get rid of the negative 17 in front of the x. You see? So now I can go ahead and get rid of that. I have one x left. So x equal to 92 over negative 17. Or you can write it as 92 with the negative in front and then the 17 is representing the same things. Alright, so You see right here, I divide both sides by negative 17. Therefore, I have 92 over negative 17. I'm not saying that I'm moving negative 17 over to this side and then I change its sign. It's absolutely incorrect. So in this case, I just divide both sides by negative 17. Okay, so to get rid of all of this completely, to have just one x, that means I isolate the x. Or I can say that I move negative 17 over to this side by changing its operation. Okay, so this is the multiplication of negative 17. So I bring it over to the other side. I divide it by negative 17. So the language is more like I'm changing the operations. I'm not changing its sign at all. The sign is like positive and negative. But when I move it over to the side of the equation to other side, I change the operations. Okay, I change the operation. I'm not changing its sign. Okay, so I went to length of the language here. So I would like to continue by checking the solution by substituting the value of x equal to negative 92 over 17 on both sides of the equation. And in checking the solution, I will work with the calculator. Okay, I would like you to just leave x in fractions. Okay, improper fractions is better than putting it in like in the mixed number. Okay, so check to see if we got the correct solution for x. So that means we need the left hand side equal to the right hand side. So the right side is equal to negative 10 multiplied by x plus 3. Don't forget that we need to write the exact statement of the right hand side. Okay, so you don't want to start writing it from the step that you already work with. Okay, so you need to start with the original equation in case that we make some errors in between here. Okay, so now I will write negative 10 and I multiply that with minus 92 over 17 plus 3. Okay, so let's review our calculators. Okay, so let's review our calculator. So let's go to the calculator and then review this. So this key right here is a fraction key, and the shift key and the D over C, and this is the negative sign, this is the subtraction sign, and this is the multiplication sign. So these four keys over to the side of the calculator representing the operations, and the difference between this subtract and this one is this one represents the negatives. How is stay in the brackets like this? It's a negative, but this one is a subtraction. So it tells the calculator to perform the action of subtract, okay, of subtracting a certain number, and this one is to tell the calculator that it is a negative number to work with. Okay, so I am going to ask everyone to remember that you must follow bad math in this case. Okay, so you must follow bad math. So we need to perform what's inside the bracket first before we multiply that with the negative 10. So let's use calculator and key in what we have to key in. Okay, so first of all, I hope you have the same calculator and then you will work with me at the same time as well. So what I will do is I will key in this, I click this key first, this key, because I'm working with the negative. Okay, so that give me negative. So then I key in 92, and then I press this key right here, this key, press that, so it gives me this symbol, this one, to represent that is a fraction, and then I key in 17. All right, so 17. So I add that with 3. So add that with 3. That means you are pressing this key, addition. Okay, addition, and key in 3. And press equal sign. equal sign, it will give me this number, -2, that key, that 7, and that key 17. So this is a mixed number, okay? So the calculators give me the mixed number like this. So let's see how it's equal to as an improper fraction. So that means you press the shift key. Okay, you press the shift key. So your calculator will give you like an S in the corner, like that. And then you start pressing the D/C key, the key above this symbol. Okay, press that, and no need for an equal sign. The calculator immediately gave me the answer as -41/17. All right, okay, so everyone kind of knows what to do up to this point, right? You're familiar with the calculator. And I may as well show you to take this and multiply -10. Okay, so on the screen of the calculator, you are having this as -41 and that key 17. All right, so the next step is to multiply this with -10. So you press this key, multiplication. Okay, so you see that this screen is gone with the answer. Is that answer multiplied by? Okay, so answer multiplied by and multiply by. And what you do is you must key in this negative sign, this negative here, negative sign, to say that you multiply that with -10. So you press that, you view this, and you key in 10 and press equal sign. Okay, so if I take this, I multiply with this, I end up with the number 24/17 as a mixed number. Okay, so you can leave it as a mixed number. And to see if we can have the same mixed number on the right hand side of the equation. So let's get back to our lesson, and I will write that down. So this will give me, okay, so it's gone, so I need to key that in again. Okay. Okay, so this gives me -2, 7/17, and I multiply this with -10. I got 24 and 2/17. Okay, so we leave it for now. Now the left-hand side. Left-hand side is equal to, again, I will write the exact statement. Okay, the exact statement. Then what I have next is I will write -7. Don't forget it's a negative sign. So for in front of x, and I must substitute x as negative, so I use the square bracket. So negative of -92/17, close the bracket, and subtract the 5, close the square bracket, and then I add that with 27. Okay, because what I have done here is I have negative of x, and x turned out to be a negative, so this separating these two negative signs, and I can perform this step and make that into a positive 92/17. Okay, so now it will be positive 92/17, subtract 5, and then add that with 27. So now again, don't forget that we need to perform this step inside the bracket first. That means you must take 92/17, subtract the 5. After that, you multiply with -7, and then your last step is to add that with 27. So don't forget bad math apply with all of this operation that we are dealing with. Okay, so let's put in 92 with the fraction key 17, and I subtract that with 5. So that should give me, okay, you do this at the same time with me. Okay, so make sure that you know how to work with your calculator. Okay, so I got 7 over 17 as the operation right here. So let me put that for everyone to see. Now I will perform this operation by multiplying first. Okay, so multiplying this two number, I should get it as negative 2, 15 over 17. And my last step is to add that with 27. Okay, so if you use your calculator, you will see that negative 2, 15 over 17 as a mixed number, add that with 27, will give me 24, 2 over 17. Alright, so now you see that left hand side is equal to the right hand side. So that means our solution is correct. Okay? Alright. Let me go over this again because I know that I only have 30 minutes for my lesson, and we emphasize a lot on the calculator and all the steps, and I don't want to continue with example number 2 and then I may have to rush because I only have like 9 minutes left involving the checking the step as well. So what I will do is I will start with example 2 on the next video. But since I have a few minutes left, I just want to emphasize to everyone that in solving for an equation involving fraction, especially as a linear equation, then we know that we only have one unknown. All right. So most of the basic steps to solve for the linear equation still apply. So we apply distributive rule. That means we have to open all the brackets here, and we simplify both sides of the equation. We isolate the unknown. Okay, so don't forget that isolate the unknown, we must go with the reverse of that mass. That means that if the negative 10 times x subtract 30, you have to get rid of the subtract 30 first before you can get rid of the multiplication of negative 10. Okay, so if you were about to perform this operation, that means you have to multiply first and then you subtract. That's exactly what we did for our checking. Okay, so in checking, you must add this first, right? And then after that, you multiply by. You see? Okay, so in this case, what you need to do is you need to get rid of the subtraction first by adding the 30 on both sides. And then right here, I get rid of the negative 17. So I'm saying this, negative 17 multiply x. So I need to divide negative 17 on both sides to isolate so that x have a 1 as a coefficient. Okay, so that means I solve for x. So after that, we set left hand side and right hand side, and to simplify all the process, we are using the calculator to perform the operation with fractions, and we still have to follow order operation in this case. And then in the end, if we have the left hand side equal to right hand side, then we have the correct solution for x. Alright, I will continue with example number 2 on the next video. Alright, thank you.